Hey everyone, this is Bitcoin Sofia. I just watched the interview that HotepJesus made, the discussion BTC versus BSV. On the BTC side, Peter and Shinobi. On the BSV side, Kurt and Connor. I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed. I wanted to hear, I wanted to see some good arguments. And I heard a lot of bitching, a lot of name calling. And what's worse is that I heard more name calling from the camp that I support than from the camp on the other side. I mean, there was on both sides, there was bitching on both sides. But come on. Connor, you could have done so much better. Just the whole thing about the definitions and who's communist and who cares? Who cares? We are not trying to prove that commies are bad. We're not trying to prove that BTCs are commies and therefore bad. We're trying to prove that we have something better. Okay. The thing that I felt strange about was that I actually agree with a lot of Shinobi's argument. Especially the ones about people choosing to run the software. People really choose to run the software. People choose. People can choose to run any software. And Shinobi, I hope you hear this. That is exactly what Bitcoin SV is. Bitcoin SV is a node implementation which people are choosing to run. I'm a person, I know other people, they're choosing to run it. They're choosing to use it. And even people who are not running a node, because as you know, nodes can get bigger, even people who are not running a node, they choose to put their trust and money and efforts in it. And that is a choice. That's valid. You cannot say it's not Bitcoin if it has these people choosing. And for that reason I say BSV is Bitcoin. And of course, that also means that BTC is Bitcoin. They are competing protocols of the same idea. Now, Hotep. If you know, Hotep, that I applied to be a speaker on that interview, but it was already decided who's gonna speak and so on and so on. If I was on that show, I would have given a much simpler argument, an argument that Peter would have liked, because it fits his viewers. It's a simple argument, something that people can understand, and something that cannot be argued against, because it's mathematics. It's simple mathematics, of course, it's just multiplication and division, but it's elementary. A high school kid, no, even a middle school kid can easily calculate this. It's that simple. And that is, how many people can use Bitcoin every day? And let's assume, and this is an assumption, that every person who uses Bitcoin, first, usage is transactions. Hodling and waiting to sell and that shit, that's not using. Using is when you make a transaction, either receiving or sending, and I put a limit so that I can actually measure it. Let's say that an average user would use Bitcoin five times a day. That means an average user sends Bitcoin five times a day. And I also put an average transaction size and everything. Overall, BTC can do 7 transactions per second. But people don't understand just how ridiculously small 7 per second is. So let me put it into perspective. There are a shit ton of people on this planet. Seriously, a lot of people. And I chose one city. I chose the city of New York. And in New York, if only New Yorkers are using BTC, only people in New York, nobody else, 1.3% of the people can be Bitcoin users. there is simply no room for the rest. 1.3. And that's just New York. There are many other big cities. There are thousands of other smaller towns and villages. They never get a chance. 1.3% of New York is the full extent of what BTC can offer. That is not a currency. That's the simplest form of the argument. And then, of course, somebody would say, oh, what about Lightning Network? Where the fuck is Lightning Network? Where is it? It doesn't work yet. It doesn't work yet. It has been in prototyping for years now. It's not here. I might accept an argument about Lightning Network if there was a Lightning Network. There isn't. There is some beta software, beta version, sorry, mispronouncing here, that some people are using, and just recently it had to be quickly patched because of some bugs that allowed thefts. Sorry, that's not a solution. And it isn't that we aren't looking for other solutions. It's that nobody has actually discovered another solution yet. There are solutions of sidechains, but at the end of the day, sidechain is just bigger blocks. Because if we're talking about a world currency, guess what? Even if it's on a sidechain, everybody has to use that sidechain. So at the end of the day, it's exactly the same, bigger blocks. I mean, it doesn't really matter if everybody is running one blockchain or two blockchains, if the total sum of the block size is the same as just increasing the block size. So for that reason, I don't count sidechains as anything different than just increased block size. It's just ridiculous. 1.3% of one city, not the planet, one city. This is not a world currency. And of course, what does BSV cover? BSV, of course, is 2 gigabytes of blocks right now, and that is just the hard limit. There is the soft limit, yada yada yada. The point is that if we assume that BSV starts producing 2 gigabyte blocks full time right now, I mean full blocks, sorry, I'm misspeaking, just packed blocks with transactions right now, then BSV can handle 20 New Yorks. And 20 New Yorks is still not a lot. It's still not enough, because that's only 5 transactions per person per day. That's tiny. That's why BSV needs to go bigger. Because BSV actually aims to be the currency of the world. What does BTC aim to be with that ridiculously small size? The only thing it can become is an asset for hodling. But where does the value come from if people cannot use it? Well, the value comes from the next hodler, because it's that type of scheme. Somebody else buys more expensive so that you can sell because you bought cheaper sooner than that person. However, guess what? 1 megabyte is not enough for hodlers. Let's assume that you want to hold Bitcoin for 3 years and then sell it more expensive and that type of shit. 1 megabyte is not enough for the whole world to hold Bitcoin for 3 years and then sell more expensive. It just isn't. It's too small. Bitcoin isn't even scalable enough for hodlers. It's scalable enough for 1% of one fucking city. And I was really disappointed that nobody spoke about that, and instead people were bitching about definitions and labeling, and honestly, Connor, if you're listening to this, I'm disappointed in what you said back there. Just trying to label people, that doesn't achieve anything. Keep focus on the purpose. If the purpose is world currency, then just measure how much of the world we cover. And that is how you calculate how good of a currency it is. Okay, let me tell you something. In the beginning, Shinobi said something. Shinobi said, Bitcoin is just a database. Yes, it is. And how do we measure how useful a database is? By two things. First, how much data can it store? And second, what properties does it give? And BTC people like to say, oh, bigger blocks ruin the properties and yada yada yada. Yes, it's indeed true that if you don't run on your own node, you cannot be 100% sure that you're not being sent an invalid transaction. There are ways to send an invalid transaction, hard ways, very expensive ways, because whoever wants to do it has to produce an invalid block, which is fucking expensive. It costs a lot of money. It costs a shit ton of money to produce a false block. And even then, you will know that it's a fake block about 10 fucking minutes later. Even then. So, what's the deal? I mean, let's say that somebody spends thousands of dollars, or on BTC even more, just so that they can produce a fucking fake block, give you a fake transaction, and scam you for 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes, you have proof that they scammed you. You go to court and you sue their asses. And that type of scam simply doesn't work. Even on internet, you can still sue the people. So what's the point of verifying that hard just so that you can restrict? I mean, what's the point of restricting Bitcoin to just 1% of one city just so that you can verify something 10 minutes earlier? It doesn't work as a currency this way. It's honestly just that simple. That's all that needed to be said. And Shinobi would say that people are free to choose which software to run. And I agree. That's actually his best argument that I heard. Well, no, he made pretty good arguments actually. Shinobi, if you're listening, I like your arguments. And indeed, people are free to choose which software to run. And some people are choosing to run SV. And I'm arguing that more and more people will choose to run SV, or whoever is not running the node will choose to put their money into SV, will choose to put their job into SV, like actually doing transactions, doing something related to it, simply because it fucking works. It covers enough people to actually make a fucking economy. 1% of New York, that is not an economy. That's simply not enough for anything. That's about it. I mean, yes, at the moment more people choose BTC as the software they prefer to run and put money in. The argument, the whole debate should have been about why would people keep choosing BTC versus why would people choose BSV as a better alternative. That's the true argument, that's the true debate. And I'm really disappointed that this wasn't addressed. Thank you for listening. HotepJesus, I made this video for you. I hope you like it. I'm specifically addressing you, and I'm gonna make sure to refer you to this video, to point you to see it. Okay, bye bye.